Is Hezi going to bid on the Israeli White House construction development? No. Hezi, his whole shtick is his firm knows is from a religious background, knows how to make sure that all of the things that religious people care about get done. So that's part of his design firm's appeal. And I'm guessing Israeli White House, whatever that means, is not going to be too interested in that. If I weren't lazy, I would take the stuff I need to put in my car before the movers show up in my car. And then I just want them to take... First of all, I'm hoping this desk will somehow fit out the door, and I don't know if it will, and if it can. I guess maybe on its side. I don't know if they're gonna be able to take it apart. If they can get this desk to my new apartment, then it'll be worth the money. If they can't, it kind of won't, but it was gonna cost me like $100 to get a truck anyway, and I didn't have people to help me move. So, and I don't know how to... So, my main thing is, if they can get my desk and this, whatever you call it, buffet, I guess it's called, and that little printer stand, and the chairs, they're just little chairs, and these things, and get them all to my new apartment, I'll be happy. And then, as far as, like, the papers all over my desk, like, I don't want to take a bunch of this stuff. There's a lot I'm gonna throw out, but I want to get the furniture out of here first. And then I'll decide what I want to throw out and not what, like the small stuff. I have until the end of the month. But the big thing is getting the electronics into my car so they're not part of the move. And I already took my scanner home. There's the printer, the old computer I already took down, and this new computer, which, well, the computer's over there. I didn't actually take it downstairs. I'm kind of waiting for everybody to leave, and then I'll take my car and put it, or I might just wait for the movers to get here and just ask them to take the electronics down to my car. We'll see. procrastinating is not going to work very well if nobody comes on. This is a pretty small office. The thing is, like, there was no way I was going to be able to get stuff upstairs to my new place. It's up a flight of stairs without movers. Life is to live, not to work. Are you sure? Once an alcoholic, drunken professor was warned by his employer to end his drinking or lose his job, to which the professor replied, I only work in order to buy booze. Why would I stop? No. Work is not chains. Work is how we find meaning in our lives. And that's just a plain fact of it. We do find meaning in our lives through our work. Um, and there's one of the lies of Marxism, which just doesn't work, is this idea that you can, in fact, have that you can just not work and be happy. And the fact is, happiness, as Jordan Peterson says, is a byproduct of taking on responsibility. And it really is. Now, what you do in order to do things, now that does matter, but the idea that you can release yourself from chains of working, it's really a Rousseauian idea that man was born free and everywhere he is in chains, and that society restricts us and all that stuff, and it's just not true. It doesn't work very well. That's how I reel people in. Don't you know about that by now, Paul? There will be chatting if there are people who to chat. Um, or is freedom true happiness? Freedom from the man? No, nope. True freedom is to do things. I actually thought that Marx himself despised people who refused to work. Marx himself despised himself more than anything. Yes, my mail is definitely out of control. uh, I'm actually procrastinating. That's what I'm doing. I should be moving to this. I should be shutting this computer down and taking it apart and putting it in my car. That's what I should be doing. And I'm smarter than ChatGPT sometimes. Rabbi Breitowitz just dropped his Parsha Shir. I could procrastinate by listening to that. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So there actually is music. Apparently, people like this one. There's also a lo-fi. It's all StreamYard. It's all StreamYard. Oh my god. Now they found classified documents at Mike Pence's home. Well, Paul, you could come on and procrastinate with me. There's like 10 other people watching us procrastinate. Shane!
Hey, brother.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Good.
How are things up north? You're in Seattle?
Seattle, sure. No.
Turn off your YouTube.
Oh, I was like, is there somebody else? I was like, man, that guy sounds handsome. No. I'm good. I'm good. No. Yeah, I just got done writing a letter, and I had nothing better uh, to do. So this is a good operation. Operation. Uh,
So you're not in Seattle,
no, I'm in Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Oregon is a different state than Seattle.
it's the new Seattle. You know what they say.
Bill!
How you doing, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Bill?
Doing pretty good. I'm not in a permissive environment, so I can't turn my camera on right this second.
I see, said the blind man.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Oh, no. Shane's an old friend. Well, he's only like 20, but like...
Yeah, when I was jumping in, I didn't see anybody on, so I wanted to smash and crash. I wanted to ask you a question right quick, and then hear your answer and leave if that's okay, sir.
Sure. What's your
So,
question?
well, last time, I don't know if you know, but I used to be associated with the Messianic movement, right?
You
And
mentioned
some of the people I knew, and one of the things that made me start really second guessing some of that stuff, took a Nazarite vow, right? And I didn't think you could do that without the temple, and how they did it was very strange. And I was just curious what a practicing Orthodox person thought about that, or what the rabbis would think about such a thing.
That's really interesting because Chezi actually, so he spoke about this on one of our Just Chatting streams previously, because when he was I think 15 years old, there was a freak accident where he almost died. And that inspired him to want to take a Nazarite vow. Now, if you take a Nazarite vow today, because there is no temple and you can't bring the offerings to end the Nazarite vow, you end up becoming a Nazarite for life. And so Chezi's father told him, okay, before you do that, let's sit down and actually learn all of the legal ramifications of that. And they actually did that, and Chezi still wanted to take a Nazarite vow. And so Chezi's father told him, okay, so let's do this. You try to live like a Nazarite for a year, and we will see if you can keep it up. And after a year, if you decide, then you can take the vow. And so Chezi actually did living like a Nazarite, no cutting his hair, no drinking wine, no grape products for a year. And then he dropped it. Now, there's one person who did take a Nazarite vow. He was a student of Rabbi Kook's, and he's famously known as the Nazir. And his son is actually a very prominent rabbi in Israel today. I believe he's the chief rabbi of Tel Aviv. And when he took the Nazarite vow, he actually took the Nazarite vow, and he was a Nazarite his entire life. So it is possible to do so, but even during the time of the temple, I mean, the Talmud says that the reason a Nazirite has to bring a sin offering is because even taking a Nazirite vow is itself kind of a sin, because God created the world for you to enjoy, and it's not something to be done lightly, but people do make vows to God. And, you know, something like what happened to Chazi, where there was a freak accident and he almost died, and he felt the fact, like, apparently he fell from someplace, at, like, a second story or something, and he fell on his head, and he almost was paralyzed, or, you know, and so that inspired him to want to take the Nazirite vow. So it's not completely unheard of, but it's also not something that we would encourage. And it's actually only something only a Jew can do. Nazirite vow is specifically for Jews. And so, yeah, that's, I mean, when Chezi told me he took the vow, like, he kind of made it sound like he took the vow for a year. He didn't actually take the vow, because that would have actually made him a Nazir for life. And frankly, his father was pretty smart in the way he did it, because his father was like, well, first let's sit down and learn all the things. And they went through Maimonides, and that took a while. And then he was like, hey, how about you try it for a year before? And frankly, more than the experience, I think maybe being a year and a half older may have convinced him to cool his blood a little bit. So his father was pretty smart in the way he did it. But yeah, it's not. First of all, if you actually take an actual Nazirite vow, it's permanent until the temple is rebuilt and you can bring your offering. Second, it's not a great thing to do. I mean, it's understandable in a situation like maybe Chazi's, where you feel a specific calling because of something specific that happened to you, or the Nazir. Honestly, he decided to take the Nazirite vow because he got to live in Israel, and he was very much taken up by gratitude with that, and so he was the type of prominent person that, like, maybe something like that would make sense of. But, like, first of all, before you take a Nazirite vow, you should certainly make sure that you're already not sinning in any way and you're already living a holy life, and then we can talk about taking a Nazirite vow.
Yeah, so I was weirded out about the whole thing, especially with the way that they supposedly ended their Nazirite vow. They cut their hair off and burnt it in an offering to God.
Yeah, honestly, like, so.
Well, if your hair's your glory, like symbolically, like offering.
Well, I mean, the Nazir at the end of the vow does in fact shave and burn the hair, but that's part of what's done at the temple. And since Solomon built the temple, none of these things can be done outside of the temple. And I mean, this is one of the things that I was talking to Father Stephen about. Like, Christians do many temple things outside of the temple itself, and they base that on verses out of Hebrews, and but ultimately, I mean, these are not things that Pharisaic Jews during the time of Jesus agreed to. There were people, like, there was a temple built in to the Lord in Egypt, and one apparently maybe in the desert. And mainstream, these were not mainstream efforts, and so like, don't know what to say. Chazi says, Israel trip, this is happening, plans are in motion. Yes, I mentioned, I actually thought Purim Katan might be because there is a second Adar, and Purim Katan falls on the 24th of February next year. So that gives us a good 13 months to prepare, and airplane tickets to Israel at the time should be rather cheap because it's a month before Purim, and that's 2 months before Passover. And so it seemed like Purim Katan might be a good day. Max says he's interested. Chazi, I'm guessing, might be interested. And Chazi says, and yes, my father was and is still looking out for me. And I'm glad you have your father to do that for you. But yeah, let me know what you think of the date as far as the Shabbaton in Israel.
You want to know a prediction?
Prediction. Give me a prediction.
All right, prediction. You guys go to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will be. Everyone going will be carrying swords, in one way or another, either metaphorically or symbolically. You know what I mean? No, I was like, okay, so there's open.
So you're saying only men are coming and no women are going to come? I think Sherry's going to come, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, then I mean, Shield Maiden, right? No.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
But that's really awesome. That's really awesome. If
well, it was yeah. I mean, people were talking about it, and frankly, airplane tickets to Israel in January and February tend to not be incredibly expensive. From Los Angeles, you're looking at like $800 round trip, and I mean, who knows what it'll be next year? But right now, you can like get tickets from Los Angeles to LAX to Tel Aviv, $800 round trip, and yeah.
I have a cousin and an uncle. My uncle and his son are both pilots, so I'll talk to him. He's an airline pilot, and his son just got trained, so that's very cool.
So maybe they'll let you take the trip for free. I don't know. But if it's going to happen, it's well, Chazi's gonna have to arrange everything because it's gonna be all Chazi's doing. Chazi and Nechama. Yeah. But I don't know. Purim Katan seemed like a good Purim Katan is on Shabbat, I believe. Or around Shabbat and the 24th.
Okay.
And it's
Purim
not
Katan's a day?
Yes, so Purim is a holiday, and Purim Katan is... So, okay, the Jewish leap year has an additional month in it. So, all Jewish months are 28 or 29 days, and they and so an extra month is added in order to keep the Passover during the spring, and so there are 7 leap years every 19 years. And next year is going to be a leap year. And so the first Adar is not the actual Adar. Second Adar is the actual Adar. And on the 15th of Adar is the celebration of Purim in the Scroll of Esther. So you can read about it in the Book of Esther. And you're all good, Bill. And so Purim Katan is when Purim would have fallen in the first Adar if there was no leap year. So since next year is going to be a leap year, there's going to be 2 months of Adar, and February 24th is going to be when the Feast of Esther would have been if there was no second Adar. I hope that made some sense. It's like a really, really minor, not really holiday, but kind of holiday. So I thought it might be. And so people aren't going to be going to Israel in February for the holidays. And so it might be a good time for us to go.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. When's the busiest?
Well, the holidays, I mean, are always busy. So Passover and the high holidays in September, around September, are always very busy. And then a lot of people go in the summer. So summer months, a lot of people are taking vacations, and so those are usually busy. And the spring is really nice. So like the winter is really the least touristy. That's when fewest people go. That's why January and February the tickets are the cheapest, because that's when the fewest people are coming and going.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder how you like civilly, like if there's a civil way to like, I don't know. I think there's like the more a conception, a good conception of truth becomes more like emphasized. I'm like, I don't know, like I feel like people are going to like how do you avoid if there's a truth and it's how do you like spread truth, I guess, like is the I guess just exemplify it. I think that's like the best bet. But I was just thinking, like you were talking about going over, and I was like, I wonder if there's gonna be like I don't think there's going to be any. I don't think that people like I don't have any desire to start like starting wars is wrong, like, but I don't know if like if something is true, like it almost feels like it's hard for like
I'm not.
I don't know.
You're
I don't know.
making
You're
a lot
talking.
of
Okay,
sense.
so when you were talking about going over, I was like, oh yeah, that'd be fun. And then I was like, but what if like something like a truth, like a horrible truth that like everyone needs to know were to like surface, and like people suddenly like were like at each other's throats, and that was like my like it was just like a thought, and I was like,
That would be horrible, but
yeah,
I have to take this phone call, and you're not making a lot of sense, so I'm gonna
okay,
end the stream. I'll talk to you later, Shane.